Welcome to a new episode in which we learn more data types. The data types we learned so far, except string, are basic data types. Then there are compound data types, collections of multiple basic values. For example, strings are made up of characters. For some of them named sequences, order of values is important. But for some others, values can be of any order. Let's start with strings. Each element, each character in a string, has an index. For example, in the string banana, B is the first character, A is the second character, and so on. Wait. In programming, we start counting from 0, not 1. So B is the 0th element, A is the 1th element, and so on. Counting must be like that. To access a specific element of a sequence, refer the element by its index as follows: value or variable name, followed by the index in square brackets. Note that the length of the string is 6, and the index of the last element is 5, not 6. Last index will always be 1 less than the length. Forgetting that is a common error. How to know the length? To know the length of a sequence, Python has this function, len. Any access with an index greater than or equal to the length will result in an error. Now into the opposite direction. What do we get if we used a negative index? An error? Python supports negative indexing of sequences. -1 is the index of the last element, -2 for the one before that, and so on in the reverse order. What if we want a bigger slice of the string, not just one element? For example, first half of banana? Just like how we access an element, but with two indices, start and end, separated by colon. See the example. Note that the element with the end index is not included in the slices. If you omit start, slicing begins from 0. If you omit end, slicing goes to the end of the string. You can even omit both, but never the colon. And you can pass an additional step parameter to the slicing, if needed. Step as2 returns every second element in the range. Step as3 gets every third element. What if step is negative, for example -1? Try it yourself. Are there any A in banana? Or any C in fruit? You can ask that to Python like this. As you remember, for loop also uses a similar notation, but for a different purpose, to traverse through a sequence. Here's an example. Same thing, if we were using while loop would be bigger. Just like we add two numbers, we can add two sequences too. Strings can have characters only. Then how to handle collections of other values? That's what the sequence tuple is for. The elements are separated by commas. Brackets are optional but the comma is not. All sequence operations used on strings are available here too. And there's tuple assignment. Also try out what happens here. But tuples and strings have a limit. They are immutable. Here's list, a mutable sequence. Looks like a tuple but enclosed in square brackets. All sequence operations are available here too. In addition, the benefits of being mutable. We can replace existing elements. Assignment by slicing is possible too. We can add a new element to the end of the list. We can also remove the last element. Pop removes the last element and return its value too. Insert an element to any given position in a list. or we can delete an element at any position. Now we have covered 3 sequences. All 3 use an integer as index to access elements. Here's a list with name and marks of one student. We have to remember what each position represents. Isn't it good, if we can use a string index here? Dictionary is the data type that supports it. Index can be any unique immutable value. Unlike sequences, order doesn't matter here. Elements are written within curly brackets, and separated by commas. Each element is a key-value pair. 2 elements cannot have the same key. Dictionary supports these operations. 1. Access the element value, using the key as index. 2. Find the length of a dictionary, just like a sequence. 3. Membership check also is possible. 4. And so is the traversal by keys. 5. We can add or update a new element. 6. Or remove an existing element. But a dictionary cannot be sliced or concatenated. Now it's time to sum up the lesson. If you have any question, feel free to ask that in comments below.